Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Katelyn, and today we are continuing our Inktober specials, and I have a very interesting question today, which I struggled with a lot when I was younger, and I've slowly gotten better at it. But today we have a question from Sean Edinger01. I probably butchered that, but how to finish a sketchbook 101. So finishing sketchbooks has always been really tough for me. When I was younger, I had so many different books that I would buy and only fill up halfway, and then I'd buy a new sketchbook and only fill it up maybe like a third of the way, and then maybe work on printer paper. I would jump around between a lot of things. I wouldn't always stay consistently in my sketchbook. And first and foremost, I want to preface that for me, I think drawing anywhere is important. Like, you don't need to have all your drawings in a sketchbook, or you don't need to have them all on your computer or tablet or anything like that. Maybe get a couple pieces of printer paper, take them with you wherever you go, or if you doodle in your line notebook at work or anything. Any type of drawing on any surface, I think, is perfectly fine. And don't feel like you have to constantly draw exclusively in a sketchbook. So with that preface out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into basically how I've kind of learned to fill a sketchbook and what a sketchbook is used for. So for me, I always felt that everything in my sketchbook had to be perfect. It had to be amazing, finished works of art, and should be my best work ever. And that was always really detrimental to me, because if I tried to sketch anything and it didn't turn out great, or maybe not up to the standards that I wanted, I always got really upset about it, especially if it was in my sketchbook, because I'm like, oh great, well I can't just rip this page out and move on. Like, no, this is forever in my sketchbook, or it's never gonna not be in this sketchbook. So I would always get really upset and torn up about it and thinking about, oh man, I messed this up. Or, you know, get to the point of I would completely erase it and draw over it again, because I'm like, I don't want to waste a good page of my sketchbook. That's just a waste. I should use this exclusively for my good art. And that was something I had to get over, because how I see sketchbooks is they are the perfect platform for experimenting and learning things that you don't know. For example, if I want to get better at drawing hands or feet or cars or certain animals, I put it in my sketchbook, because I can practice it over and over and over, and I see this more as a big practice book. The sketchbook can help me develop finished pieces, like I can use it for thumbnailing or doing the initial sketches for a finished piece, but I've had to get over the mindset of everything in my sketchbook should be like gold. It should be like the epitome of the best work I've ever done. No, that's not what a sketchbook is for. And that was one of the biggest things that helped me start filling up a sketchbook, is telling myself, you know, sketchbooks are meant for practice. They're meant to fill up with lots of different things and just sketch and practice. They're not meant to be like your portfolio piece. And I know that's hard to get over, especially when you're kind of younger in high school and you carry around your one sketchbook wherever you go, and your friends are like, oh, can I see it? Can I see this? And they might even comment on like how good or bad certain drawings are, but it's just something that you have to know how to filter and listen to the feedback they have, but, you know, at the same time, be like, you know, it's just a sketch. It's not a finished piece. It's not whatever. And, you know, constructive criticism is always good to help us grow. But I know I got really attached to my sketchbooks. I was like, these are my heart and soul on a page and in a book, and I don't want anyone tearing into them. But after getting over that stigma of everything has to be perfect, I was like, whatever, you know, I'll draw what I draw in the sketchbook, even if they're doodles or scribbles and they're not like amazing pieces of work. You know, that's what it's for. And if people look through it, it actually helps to have all those doodles and scribbles. A really great piece of advice I got from an artist that looked through my sketchbook probably, oh man, a couple years ago. It's been a little while. But one of the best pieces of advice that I've gotten is, it's kind of like in math. You have to show your work and show the construction and your practice behind your work. And that helps so much with filling up a sketchbook, because what they really liked about my sketchbook was that I did show all these different things. It wasn't just finished pieces. Like, I had a couple pages here and there that were just random scribbles or really quick gestures of animals or something that I could just bang out really fast. And they're like, you know, this is really good to show, because if you show this, it shows that you get the fundamental roots of the construction of whatever you're making. Because when you make a finished piece, it doesn't really show all that work and construction behind learning the anatomy or the shape or whatever of what you're drawing. But in your sketchbook, when you do those fundamental gesture sketches or construction sketches, employers or other artists can see like, oh look, you know, she does get it, or he gets it, or whoever gets it. They understand what the structure is of this thing that they're constantly drawing. So I know I got a bit on a tangent, but those things kind of add up into what my suggestions are for filling up your sketchbook. First off, don't be afraid to start a sketchbook and then leave it for a bit. And maybe you get a cool flashy new book and want to pick that up. 100% okay. What's been helping me is I put the dates of when I started the sketchbook and when I finished the sketchbook, so I know what period in time I worked on it for. And so if I do jump between other sketchbooks, I know like, okay, well, this was during this point in my life and this one was during this point. And it helps me kind of categorize them. So don't be afraid to jump between a couple different sketchbooks, or even jump away from your sketchbook for a bit and just do, you know, printer paper or watercolor paper or whatever you want. Like, feel free to go outside of the sketchbook. The important thing is doing the drawing and the practice. Second thing I would suggest for filling up a sketchbook is practicing things you're not comfortable with. I kind of touched on this already, but you should try to push yourself to use that sketchbook as a platform to practice anything new or odd or something that you haven't done before, or something you want to improve on. So like for me, I have a couple solid pages of hands in my sketchbook and a couple solid pages of feet and shoes because I was struggling with those. So I used that sketchbook to practice and refine that and get better at it. So that's what I would suggest using your sketchbook for in terms of practice. And then another thing is take your sketchbook with you wherever you can. You know, you might have different sizes for when you go different places. I've been keeping mine a consistent small Moleskine sketchbook, or Moleskine, however you pronounce it, because it fits in all my bags and it's not too big and it's not too small. It's just the right size where I can take it wherever. I can, you know, take it out and sketch if I feel the need, but it's not like this giant sketchbook that I have to like fumble with. Having a really good size sketchbook for your needs helps a lot. And then I've also noticed for me, like I tend to draw kind of big or small, I guess depending on the paper, but when I have a smaller sketchbook, I feel it's not as, or I guess I feel there's not as much pressure to fill the whole page. When I have the big sketchbooks, I'm like, I should really use all this real estate and draw on the big pages and use everything. And sometimes that's good for people, but for me, I've noticed having a smaller sketchbook with less real estate to fill encourages me to fill it as much as I can, if that makes sense. So that's what I would recommend you guys do, is draw things you're uncomfortable with, push yourself to try new and interesting things in your sketchbook. Secondly, don't be too attached to your sketches. The sketchbook is meant to be a practice tool. It's not gonna be your magnum opus. It's not gonna be your crowning glory or your big portfolio piece. It might add to your portfolio if you have some really good sketches in there, but don't feel it has to be an amazing book from cover to cover. And then third, I just recommend taking it wherever you can. You know, having a sketchbook ready with you wherever helps a lot. Like when you're just sitting in a waiting room, riding the bus, going wherever, you have something to do when inspiration strikes. So thanks again, guys, for stopping by and checking out this video. And if you have any other topics you guys want me to talk about during Inktober, feel free to leave it down in the comments below. If you aren't already, you can go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I have new videos every week. And I hope you guys are enjoying the Inktober series. We're getting really close to being done. It's crazy. October is almost over. But thanks again, guys, for stopping by, and I'll see you all next time. Bye, everybody.